Before the world knew him as the near-silent genius behind one of comedy's most recognizable faces, Rowan Atkinson was a quiet boy growing up on a farm in County Durham, England. Born on January 6, 1955, he was the youngest of four sons in a family shaped by discipline, education, and quiet resilience. The rural landscape of northeastern England formed the backdrop of his childhood: fields, routine, responsibility. His parents valued hard work and intellectual rigor, expecting their children to pursue stable, respectable careers. Tragedy also touched the household when one brother died in infancy, a loss that lingered silently. Within this structured environment, Rowan developed a sharp, observant mind and a deep inner life. Yet beneath the calm exterior, he faced a private struggle that would define his path far more profoundly than fame: a severe stutter that made everyday communication painfully difficult and shaped the foundation of his future in performance. A childhood marked by silence. Around the age of 5, Rowan developed a pronounced stutter that turned simple conversation into an exhausting ordeal. Words stalled mid-sentence, syllables tangled, classroom participation became a source of dread. School, instead of being a sanctuary of curiosity, became a place of anxiety. Children can be unintentionally cruel, and classmates singled him out for his halting speech and intense expressions. He was labeled strange, even alien, a description that stayed with him for years. The emotional toll of constant self-consciousness fostered isolation, but it also cultivated observation. Unable to speak easily, Rowan watched carefully. He studied faces, gestures, timing, skills that would later become central to his craft. His silence was not emptiness, it was preparation. The struggle did not break him, but it shaped his identity, forcing him to develop resilience and inner discipline long before he stepped onto any stage. Discovering freedom on stage. Something remarkable happened when Rowan performed. While everyday speech triggered anxiety, stepping into a character dissolved his stutter almost completely. Acting created psychological distance. It was not Rowan speaking, but someone else. This shift brought relief rather than confidence, relief from the constant anticipation of humiliation. On stage, he felt control. Performance became a structured environment where timing, rehearsal, and intention replaced uncertainty. The audience's laughter transformed fear into affirmation. Unlike spontaneous conversation, scripted roles allowed preparation and precision. For the first time, communication felt safe. Acting did not cure his stutter, it bypassed it. The stage became both shield and sanctuary. In those moments, Rowan discovered that identity could be fluid. If he could inhabit someone else convincingly, perhaps his limitations were not permanent barriers, but obstacles that could be navigated creatively. Academic discipline and engineering ambitions. Despite social difficulties, Rowan excelled academically, particularly in mathematics and science. His analytical mind found comfort in logic and predictability. He attended Newcastle University, earning a degree in electrical and electronic engineering in 1975. To teachers and family, his path seemed clear: a stable career in research or industry. Engineering suited his temperament: methodical, detail-oriented, structured. Comedy appeared impractical, especially for someone who struggled to speak. Yet beneath equations and circuitry, performance lingered as a quiet pull. The discipline of engineering would later influence his comedic precision. Sketches were constructed with almost mathematical accuracy. Timing, pacing, and structure became technical exercises as much as artistic ones. Though he did not yet envision a life in entertainment, the duality of scientist and performer was already forming, each side strengthening the other in unexpected ways. Oxford and creative awakening. Rowan continued his studies at the Queen's College, Oxford, initially pursuing postgraduate work in engineering. Yet Oxford's vibrant cultural life offered something new: opportunity. He joined student drama groups in the Oxford Review, discovering an environment where eccentricity was welcomed rather than mocked. There he met Richard Curtis, beginning a creative partnership that would shape British comedy. On stage, the reserved engineering student transformed into a bold performer. His sketches combined intellectual sharpness with exaggerated physicality, Oxford became the turning point where academic discipline and comedic instinct fused. Encouraged by collaborators who valued originality, Rowan began refining a style that relied less on verbal fluency and more on expressive control. The university setting allowed experimentation without national scrutiny, giving him space to grow artistically while still grounded in academic pursuit. Influences and the rise of physical comedy. Rowan gravitated toward physical comedy, inspired by performers such as Buster Keaton and Jacques Tati. Their mastery of movement and silence resonated deeply with him. Instead of relying on rapid dialogue, he explored facial elasticity, posture, and precise gesture. Physical comedy became both artistic preference and protective mechanism. Without excessive speech, vulnerability decreased. His performances were almost scientific experiments in timing. Every pause calculated, every glance intentional. This method distinguished him from contemporaries who favored wordplay. Rowan's approach demonstrated that silence could be louder than speech. By embracing minimal dialogue, he turned a childhood challenge into a signature strength. The audience's laughter confirmed that communication transcends words, validating a style rooted in his earliest struggles. Early struggles and persistence. In 1976, Rowan performed at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe with the Oxford Revue, gaining modest attention. After completing his thesis in 1978, he faced uncertainty. Broadcasters struggled to categorize his unconventional style. Auditions often reignited his stutter, intensifying self-doubt. Rejections accumulated. For a time, he considered abandoning comedy altogether. Yet, collaboration sustained him. Support from fellow performers provided reassurance that originality, though risky, had value. A BBC radio project in 1979 showcased his versatility, though it reached limited audiences. Persistence rather than instant acclaim defined this phase. Rowan learned resilience in the face of skepticism. Each setback refined his material and strengthened his resolve. Success, when it came, would be built not on luck, but on years of disciplined adaptation. Breakthrough with Not the 9 O'Clock News television finally offered opportunity with Not the 9 O'Clock News. Initially met with confusion and criticism, the sketch show struggled to find its audience. Yet persistence paid off when a second series was commissioned. Its sharp satire and unconventional tone gradually resonated. Rowan's performances stood out for their intensity and precision. One dramatic monologue parody became particularly memorable, cementing his reputation as a fearless performer. The show's eventual success established him as a significant voice in British comedy. It proved that unconventional talent could thrive if given time. For Rowan, it was validation that years of quiet perseverance had not been misplaced. Reinvention through Blackadder. Rather than repeating himself, Rowan co-created Blackadder, a historical sitcom that evolved dramatically across its seasons. The first series received mixed reviews, but subsequent installments refined the format, sharpening wit and character dynamics. Set in different historical eras, the show blended satire with character-driven humor. Its final series, set during World War I, ended on a poignant note that surprised audiences with emotional depth. The closing scene remains one of British television's most powerful moments. For Rowan, this project demonstrated growth, not just as a comedian, but as a storyteller capable of balancing humor with tragedy. It solidified his reputation as a versatile performer, willing to take creative risks, creating Mr. Bean. In 1990, Rowan introduced the world to Mr. Bean, a largely silent character defined by childlike logic and exaggerated expression. The show's minimal dialogue made it universally accessible, transcending language barriers. Mr. Bean became a global phenomenon, broadcast in nearly every country. Ironically, the character's silence mirrored Rowan's lifelong struggle with speech. Physical endurance and meticulous control defined each episode, leaving him exhausted but admired. The role brought international fame and cemented his status as an icon of physical comedy. Yet behind the laughter lay immense discipline. Mr. Bean was not accidental genius. He was engineered precision, shaped by decades of self-awareness and craft, public persona and private convictions. Beyond comedy, Rowan has revealed complexity through public advocacy and personal courage. He has spoken in defense of free expression, emphasizing open debate in democratic society. Off-screen, he maintains a relatively private life, avoiding celebrity spectacle. Notably, he once assisted during an in-flight emergency by helping stabilize a situation until safety was restored, demonstrating calm under pressure. These moments contrast sharply with his on-screen absurdity, revealing steadiness and conviction. While audiences associate him with exaggerated foolishness, those glimpses show thoughtful intelligence and composure. The contrast underscores a central truth: the performer and the person are distinct, though shaped by shared resilience. Conclusion: a legacy of adaptation. As Rowan Atkinson entered his 70s, his legacy stood firmly established. Yet his story is less about fame than adaptation. He did not conquer his stutter. He learned to navigate around it. He transformed vulnerability into innovation, silence into global laughter. Through engineering precision, theatrical courage, and relentless discipline, he built characters that transcend language and culture. Audiences see confidence and mastery. He often speaks of doubt and self-critique. Perhaps that tension fuels his excellence. Rowan's journey illustrates that limitations can become foundations for creativity. His life is not merely a tale of success, but of resilience, proof that strength sometimes grows quietly, shaped by challenges that never fully disappear but instead become the source of extraordinary art.